6:32 p.m. on the 3rd of October, Tuesday the 3rd of October. The meeting of the North Woodview Park and Recreation District is called to order for a special meeting. So, first topic, the Blue Heron. Already told Commissioner Frost. Thank you.
Yeah, I get it.
I appreciate that. The Blue Heron Booster Club contract, the one that was signed, the executive director was in fact not authorized to sign such an instrument. So it is null and void, and I would recommend that what we do is come up with some terms that would be acceptable to this board in the interim, figure out what interim period while they hammer out the real contract, and what period that's going to be so that they can continue to swim. So, does anyone have an idea on what they would like, what numbers they want to see in the Booster Club swimming contract?
I recommend we use the 2016-2017 high school lane hours. $17 per hour. No, that's eventually comes $17,000.
Okay.
It's only $645 per lane hour this year.
Is that what they're being charged this year?
By my calculations, it's $9.60.
That's for this. I'm talking about. Oh, okay. That's right. We're already into the 2016, 17. Yeah. Okay.
17, 18.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry. All right.
17. So yeah, use the 17, 18 then. Right.
Okay. Is there a second
Still
for
17.
that? Second. It's been moved and seconded that we use for the amount per lane hour what we're charging the high school for the 2017-18 year, which is how much per hour?
$9.60.
$9.60 per lane hour. Discussion.
And it should incrementally go up each year.
Let's. Okay. Do you want to make that? Do you want to amend your? Because right now your motion is.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were just asking for this current year, for currently. And she said until we make it some business.
Right. So let's do right now. Focus on the short-term contract. Then we can talk about what we want to see in the longer-term contract. Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. So, is there anything else that we want to see in a short-term contract? Is there? Do you want to modify that to send for the date that we should have the full-term, the long-term contract in place?
Well, I also have some modifications there. I had some other questions about that.
Madam Chair.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying, and so maybe the suggestion would be to add to the motion 30 days, 45 days, period, during which, because the point is we're not trying to stop anybody from swimming, but we need to have a valid contract, and so we're agreeing to these terms for that period of time. I would suggest 45 days. I don't.
Sounds good to me.
Do you wish to modify your motion to that extent to say within 45 days?
Yes, for 45 days.
And is there a second for that?
Right.
And the lane changes can't be changed. They can't drop at the last minute and say we don't need the lanes we've scheduled. In other words, lane time will be billed as used is what he has in here.
Okay.
So at the last minute they can come in and say, well, we don't need that many lanes, so we can't reschedule those lanes for anything.
Okay, so for the short term, do you want to also say that?
So it's just looks like the high school. High school schedules a certain number of lanes.
Agreed.
And they don't come in and they don't change it if some people don't show up.
For the short term, we're focusing on the short term agreement or motion right now. For the short term, do you want them to have to pay for every lane they're contracted for?
Yes.
Is that part seconded? Yes. Okay. So right now what I have is for that the lane charge will be, for the short term, will be $9.60 per lane hour for, this will go for 45 days, after which a contract has to be, a regular contract has to be signed, or this is not valid anymore. And it would be paid for every lane that's specified in the contract.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Singleton.
So the contract effective date would be tomorrow? I missed.
This contract date to be effective tomorrow?
Correct.
Okay. For October. And do you second the effective for October? Do you second that?
Right, I mean, sorry.
To be effective for October for 45 days, $9.60 per lane hour, to pay for every lane specified.
Right, sorry, I don't know, but I guess thinking about sorry, can I just Richard for a second? I'm not
Yes.
sure. Well, so we obviously want to be sure that we're also collecting for the time when Sergeant's working.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's my question. Is it retroactive to the 15th of August?
Personally, I don't think that would be fair. I think
So
that would be bad faith.
Okay, so
I don't-
from the 15th of August until through today at the $5 per lane hour swarm. Okay. Will you accept that as part of your motion as well? Okay. For swarm 15 August to October, $5 per lane hour as set in void contracts.
All right, so what's the full motion? Try to get that down.
Okay. You know what? I will tell you what I will say it, but I will write it out for you, and I'll give it to you written out, okay? Okay.
Just
Okay.
email from your phone.
Yeah, but let me say it and make sure that everyone says, yes, that's what we just heard. So it's been moved and seconded that the new temporary contract will be effective as of 4 October. The payment will be $9.60 per lane hour. It will go for 45 days, after which it needs to be replaced, by which time it needs to be replaced by a solid contract, and they will pay for every lane specified. For lap swim, 15 August to 3 October, $5 per lane hour as set in the voided contract. I would also recommend that they be allowed to change the lane specifications, because they may not want as many lanes as they've taken at almost twice the price.
When will they change those?
They have to do it by tomorrow. They should be able to do that. Everything specified as specified by 4 October.
So are they going to be, even though they're only using 2 lanes or 3 lanes, is the rest of the pool going to be empty during that time?
No,
Or is it gonna be
they know to
some
use
program?
they'll be using the pool for other programs.
Okay, thank you.
We had talked about that.
We have the program schedule, so we can see that.
Okay. So does anyone have anything else for the temporary contract provisions? Any further, you want to discuss it further?
Yes.
Go.
Several thoughts I have. First thought is, it'd be nice to know what the hell we're doing here. I mean, and I don't mean that in a smart-ass way. I mean, I want to know what the hell we're doing here. I mean, I assume everybody in this room thinks they know what we're doing here. I assume that everybody feels like I do, and that this is what the last couple of years has been about. I mean, are we really going to sit here and say that the director doesn't have the right to sign any contracts? I don't know where that's coming from. That seems like new policy that I know nothing about. Furthermore, the $5 an hour, the $5 per lane hour, that's methodology that this board agreed to. That's our methodology. The director even clarified that at one point before he negotiated this contract. He clarified with us that that was our intent. And we said yes, that that's what we were going to charge all groups. So I don't know what's going on here. But I would also say that 24 hours, when you're dealing with a contract and you're dealing with another group, and I would assume that they are going to want to have their legal representation look at it as well. I don't think saying that they can sign it by tomorrow is nowhere near quick enough. And yeah, to bring this up, I received my ballot in the mail today. I assume most people did, and most people vote right away. To bring this up right in the middle of people voting, I go back to 8 months ago or a year ago when the director said we needed to leave this alone and talk to the levy, and that if we didn't, we were going to pay the price. In the August primary, this district and our maintenance and operations levy received the lowest percentage of the vote that we ever have. The board is to blame for that, nobody else. That's all I have on this item.
Thank you. Commissioner Fort?
So back in the special meeting on June 22nd, it was the executive director was asked to bring a proposal to the board in September for the costs and how to operate the swim team. Instead, he brought us a fait accompli contract already signed. That's not what we asked him to do. And yes, no, he's supposed to come through the board and get some input, and he didn't do that.
Done?
Bringing
No,
forward
stop.
the non-competitive swim program wasn't with any relation to them, though. I interpreted that as two different things.
I didn't.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer? You need to be recognized. Thank you.
That's part of manipulation.
Stop. In the, for the $5, when we heard all that, I listened to it and I thought he's talking about, and I could have been wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was, we were looking at those numbers, we were being told this is what it costs to run the programs of the district. This is not a program district. How much are we charging the high school? We should be charging other groups what we're charging high school. Charging less seems then we're overcharging the high school or the school district. That's just wrong on so many levels. And we're here because, in fact, our executive directors do not have the authority to sign contracts that commits the resources of this facility over $30,000. That's just it, simple. It's in the bylaws, which you revised. So, Commissioner Jameson, do you have anything to say?
I would just echo what you said in terms of the calculation was based on cost, not price. And I also agree that, I agree with what Commissioner Hawley said, but I think the other part is what we're actually trying to do is it's a good faith effort to try to keep things moving. If people don't feel comfortable with that contract, we can just say it's a void contract and that there is no agreement. That is not the objective here. Unfortunately what I'm hearing is that you're uncomfortable with that. I hope that people want to come to the table and make an agreement that we can do for a short term. What's that?
Negotiation in a contract, not your dictation?
Well, at this point, if you want to, then I'm sure that there's a way to have that conversation. But I think the problem is, part of what we're saying is that's an invalid contract that was entered into. And unfortunately for some of us, that's not with this executive director, but it's not the first time we've experienced this. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And our, as I understand it, our attorney advised us of this. So this is not something that we just decided that we thought that. We sought legal advice. So that's a fact. And the point is we're trying to we want to make an agreement, but unfortunately, the one that we have in place is invalid.
Did you notify the club?
Okay, we're gonna not engage the audience, please.
I'm not intending to.
You tell them first, but just stop. Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Frosch? Okay, anyone have a second comment?
I mean, it seems that the intent is clear here, and maybe the intentions are good as well. You know, if that's the case, I would just encourage the board to maybe extend the deadline out from 1 day to 1 week or something, so they at least have time to go through it.
Madam Chair. To that point, I think that would be fine. I think for us, it's it would need to include whatever those terms are to be retroactive. But I see your point.
Yeah.
I see your point,
That seems
and
fair.
it's truly, the intentions are good. So sure, if that's, I mean, that, you know, I'm all for seconding an amended motion as it relates to that. Because, yeah, right, part of it is to try to find something that in the very short term everyone can live with.
Okay. Do you wish to amend your motion to be effective for October, or to be effective retroactively for October, giving them a week to look over just these very simple terms?
Yes.
So,
And
To agree upon terms. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
To agree upon terms.
wait a minute, to be effective
and in that case,
retroactively.
and in that case, we should also see the contract that the director writes before he signs it, so that,
To make sure that it's what we agreed to.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. To be effective retroactive for October with 1 week for review by Blue Heron Booster Club. Okay. So is there a second for that?
Second.
All right. So it's been moved and seconded. They would put in place a temporary contract. To be effective retroactively for October with 1 week for review by the Blue Heron Booster Club that will charge $9.60 per lane hour for a 45-day period, to be for every lane specified in the contract. For laps from 15 August to 3 October, $5 per lane hour will be charged as set in the void contract. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed signify by saying nay.
No.
No.
And the chair votes aye. I will now do a roll call vote. Commissioner Frosch?
No.
Commissioner Shingleton?
Aye.
Commissioner Fort?
Aye.
Commissioner Hoffmeyer?
No.
And Commissioner Hawley votes aye. It passes. 3-1, 3-2. Okay. Now, we should probably then talk about those things that are wrong with the contract for a longer term.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
May I suggest, we know that our attorney and our insurance company have copies of the contracts.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should wait for their feedback.
Oh, okay.
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
we can debate the minutia of it, but we really need something that they're going to suggest. I mean, we need to discuss that with them.
Okay. I like that idea. Does anyone have any issues with that? Okay, we're done with that part. Next on the agenda, does somebody have anything else they want to say on the Blue Heron Booster Club contracts? I missed. Okay. Executive director evaluation, we're going to go into executive session. The director has asked that former Commissioner Sean Merrill, who apparently will be a commissioner again, come in the meeting with him. Do any of the commissioners have an issue with that?
No.
Commissioner Ford, do you have a problem with that? Are you thinking of it? Okay. I do have a problem, Commissioner Singleton. I was like, understand the purpose of that. Purpose? Yeah.
Yeah, since he is going to be running unopposed, I wanted him to have around a baseline of what this board in its entirety, how they evaluate me, so whenever he's part of the next evaluation, that he would know where it's come from to where it's going.
So it's a listening capacity.
Yes, listen.
I have no problem with that.
All right. So it is 6:53 p.m. We're going to be gone for, I would say, 20 minutes at least. And I don't know of anything, we don't have anything else on the agenda, but you're welcome to stick around if you wish to. Can I have the, so we're going, oh, sorry, what I'm supposed to say, we're going into, in accordance with RCW 42.30.110, paragraph 1, I think it's F. No.
I think district employees might be G, but I'm not sure.
I'm trying to remember where it is. Oh, that's it. It's G. Thank you. Paragraph 1G. Do you need that? You need to write that down in 2 minutes. The number's up at the top. Okay, so meeting is called back to order at 7:16 p.m. We've covered all our business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
It's been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. It's unanimous. We are adjourned at 7:16 p.m. Next meeting is sometime this month. Okay, it's on my